So, welcome to the 12th episode of My Career, My Identity at Dr. Benny Palatty Veedum YouTube channel. Frederick Sage said, things that people learn purely out of curiosity can have a revolutionary effect on human affairs. Science is a magic world. It is in books and laboratories for many, but we find it around us in our life context. Today, we experience the life-oriented academics of science and its research and career possibilities at My Career, My Identity series. We need to reflect on the practical applications of science to think and learn science. Children have to work with science in their daily life engagement. There is a scientific way of approaching things and studying. Science should improve thinking, analyzing, and systematic study habits of every student. Innovations, incubation centers, and technical advances provide charming atmosphere in the field of science. It is visible and clear that progress happens in the field of science, and its effects are visible in our daily life materials, applications, and facilities. Children should be following the advances and new courses in the field of life sciences. New style of engagement and learning happen in this field. Science is a process for learning about nature in which competing ideas about how the world works are measured against observations, said Richard P. Feynman. Science is not just reading and by hearting. It is understanding the surroundings and bringing ideas and working with it. There are facilitation centers, discussion spots, hatching of ideas, laboratories, incubation facilities, etc. Science learning has become very much involving and engaging. Bioscience and biotechnology innovations and its scope are enormous for the science students to grab the opportunities. There are many upcoming programs and possibilities. The immense possibilities of science, the progressions in science learning, innovative science researches are areas that are discussed in today's My Career, My Identity series program. Mr. Biju Matthew, who is a leader in this field, is with us today. He has worked with SAWF India, Regional Center for Biotechnology and Center for DNA Fingerprints and Diagnostics. He has been instrumental in developing reputed and super specialty learning centers, an experienced and internationally exposed expert. Currently, he is working with International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, New Delhi. Welcome, Mr. Biju Matthew, to the interactive session on life science career options. Science is not just laboratory, chemicals, and theories. To a great extent, it also shapes the minds of students to be disciplined, academically engaging, and scientific. Ting Min Chin confirms science is simply the word we use to describe a method of organizing our curiosity. Many social science streams miss to provide systematic and challenging cognitive engagement, but science provides logical and progressive thinking and study experience. Academically motivated students are helped to develop their personality by attempting science. Focused thinking, systematic approach, learning engagement, evidence-based progress, etc. are implicit in learning science. Today, we discuss science learning and its career options. Let's all enjoy and participate. And we have youngsters who are interested in science here with us. Congratulations for preparing yourself to be part of this interaction and welcome. Dear friends, Edward Teller motivates us. The science of today is the technology of tomorrow. Let's be part of it. Let's dream and work for it to make life easier. So we are here. We do discuss on science, it advances and career possibilities. Now over to you, Mr. Biju Matthew.
Thank you, Father Palatty. Thank you for such a nice introduction, and thank you for giving a brief, background about what all my experiences are there. I'll take little more time to give a little more detailed introduction of my, career, because I guess that will help the students to also understand how the system in India works, how the career is linked to the studies what we do, or it can be you can have options outside your scope of study also. I mean, I did my graduation in Andhra Pradesh. It was the earlier Andhra Pradesh in Hyderabad. I finished my graduation, and then my primary interest was to join the army. I did qualify for the defense services, but then I had little medical problems, and then I had to reorient my career from the starting. So though I've done science, but then in those days I still remember that after doing science, two greatest options were either you do engineering or you do medical. And then if you don't get through either of the engineering or medical, then the options were very limited. You had to go in for the competitive exams, the banking, the insurance, and the other civil services and all. So to my advantage, I got selected into the government service. And for the first 10 years, I was worked through different ministries, the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Science and Technology, and Survey of India. And after that, I was posted to CPWD Shillong. After being in CPWD Shillong for nearly 2-3 years there, I took a break from there. And my first exposure to the scientific laboratories came when I joined the Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics in Hyderabad. So that was at a very nascent stage, and we had a good experience in setting up that laboratory at its place in Hyderabad. We also undertook construction of its building. Presently it is in the Central University campus at Uppal. So that was my first exposure to setting up the scientific lab. Then I moved to an institution called the National Institute for Rock Mechanics, that is in Kolar. Now that is a very specialized field which I never had any exposure, regarding rock mechanics. I was wondering what is the rock mechanics all about. Rock mechanics is a very specialized stream where people do the tunneling work, the bridges building. We fail to understand, there are planes, but then why does the railway track go curving? Why does at which place the tunnel has to be made? How much stability the tunnel will have? So all these aspects, and how much deep the coal mines can go. Why a coal mine should be stopped at certain level, or how the tunneling can be done, how the sinking of the tunneling is done. So all these aspects, this was totally new to me. But then 3.5 years I spent in the NIRM was totally an eye-opener. I also had a chance to visit an hydroelectric project which was under construction in Bhutan, and that was fantastic. I mean, if you look from outside a mountain, just looks like a mountain, but then my director told me that inside the mountain there is a 1,000 crores project going on. I mean, I was wondering what is it. So he took me into the tunnel 1.5 kilometer into the mountain, where they had diverted a river into the mountain, and they had induced a fall of 1,000 meters inside the mountain. And at the bottom of the pit, there was a huge theater where there were 6 or 7 turbines set up by the BHEL, and then nearly 1,000 megawatt of electricity was the capacity of that production. And then the river was flowing outside from the bottom of the mountain. From outside, if you look, it was only open mountain, and inside there was a 1,000 crore project going on inside, and we were participating in that project. So because of my decision to move to different organizations, I had exposure to all these fields of activity. Then I moved on to an institution called as the Arnet India, which was involved in the setting up of the knowledge network throughout the educational institutions of the country. I had an opportunity to work with the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade also. And in 2011, I joined the Regional Center for Biotechnology. Now, Regional Center for Biotechnology is part of an initiative of the government to set up the Biotech Science Cluster. Biotech Science Cluster is a concept which was promoted in 1996 by then the Education Minister under the Vajpayee government. But then the actual project took off in 2011 when we all formed a team, had a very good director, Dr. Dinkar Salunke, who took the project forward. We were allotted 200 acres of land near Faridabad, and then we set up 3 different institutions there. The Regional Center for Biotechnology, the Translational Health Sciences and Technology Institution, and then we have the Office of Connectivity now, which is coming up. So part of the project has been established. 3 institutions are functioning there. Regional Center for Biotechnology has become a university in its own. The Translational Health Sciences is the new part of the new paradigm shift to the institution of the government, where earlier all our research was focused only towards publication of papers, the basic science research. But now the government has shifted its focus towards the translational research. Translational research means from bench to the roads, from bench to the actual user. I mean, earlier we used to publish papers, and those information used to be used by the translation science overseas, and then the production, the actual patenting process, everything was done in the Western countries. Now we are beginning to do that part of research, the translational research in India. That is a huge shift from maybe 20 years before and now. And part of that process is the incubators, the technology platform centers that we have established in Faridabad. So after setting up the institution, now it has really flourished there. I moved on in 2018 to the present institution, which is the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. It is part of a UNIDO setup that was set up in India in 1988. And we have got 66 member countries as part owners of the institution. Our headquarters is in Italy now, and we also have a center in Cape Town. So we also do research we are participating in the government's initiative now, the anti-COVID fight. We are an authorized training center, the testing center for the COVID. And we also hope that our scientific research gives impetus to the vaccination program that the government of India plans to undertake soon. Now, this is a little bit about my background in the scientific field. Now, with your permission, if you're all okay, I'll go on to the presentation of the career options, which all of you have. The students would be more interested in this. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So firstly, what we would like to understand is what is life sciences. This is for basic starters who are in the age group, who have just about finishing 10th class. The scientific study of living organisms related to their origin, evolution, and biological traits is life sciences. Now, this is very basic thing. In the era of scientific research and advancement, this field has emerged as an excellent career opportunity. Now, career opportunities we will discuss as we go on in my presentation. Why do you need to do science? Now, if you have got a quest to discover more about the living beings and unravel the biological and scientific reasons behind them, only then choose life science as your career. One never knows that your knowledge, research, and discovery can someday give to society a remedy for some currently incurable phenomenon. Now, scientific research, we all understand, has progressed quite a lot. But even now, if if you ask people, if you ask me, I'm a diabetic patient. I know how to control diabetes. Still now, cure has not been found for diabetes. The hair loss. There are so many problems which are relevant among the common people, which we know how to manage these problems. We don't know how these cures are available. Now, that is what science we are looking forward for science to give us. Now, life sciences offers multiple ranges of subjects like biology, botany, zoology, medicine. It is huge. I'll give the details as we go along. But then to progress, to do research in science, it requires skill, academic qualification, and knowledge. Now, after 10th, why should I choose science? Is a very relevant question that I'd like to answer here. First reason for choosing science is if I'm interested in science. Science interests me. Now, how do you know that you are interested in science? There are a lot of questions come to your mind. You like to seek answers, you like to ask questions. Your second aspect is you scored good marks in science. Now that also helps you, because that shows that you have got the aptitude to do science. Science is also analytical work. So science helps you to develop an analytical output. In today's world, science also gives you a good rewarding career, because there are so many options in science that, if you actually try and understand the scope of science, I am sure that a lot of people a lot of good people with aptitude should come into science. Now, the major factor of choosing science is that you can contribute directly to the needs of the society. Once you have chosen science during your intermediate, and you finish your intermediate with science subjects, now you got an option to choose your career goals. So this is where your career goals actually start taking shape. You got medicines and allied subjects, you can do engineering, you can become a researcher. Now you can become a researcher even after doing medicines and allied subject. You can become a researcher even after doing engineering branches. You can become an academician. That means you can become either a teacher, you can become a professor, you can become a lecturer, you can become an entrepreneur also. Entrepreneur means if you like to start your own industry, the option is open up to you. And there are a lot of opportunities now which the government has given, which I will try to explain to you as we go along. Then we have the service industry, where there are a lot of there is a scope for marketing, there is a scope for service, there is a scope for IPR. So the aim of this presentation is to increase awareness about these options. Now, how to choose a course for graduation? The primary yardstick for choosing any course is your interest and passion. Now, if you have interest and passion, that is where you need to search for availability of options. If you do not have interest in or passion, you do not take science, because science, would require involvement. Science would also require, understanding. Science would require analytical reasoning or thinking that would actually lead to a rewarding career. If opting for basic science course, do not try to specialize too much at the undergraduate level, because you are cutting down your options for the post-graduation level. If you do too much specialization, then the you limit your scope for the post-graduation level. Third important factor is follow your specific interest. Do not go by the interest of your friend or the best student of your group. I mean, each person, if you see the last point, 1 size does not fit all. You follow your specific interest, Do not go by the interest of your friend or the best student of your group. Their aims, their ambitions, their aptitude would be totally different. Then there are whole lot of combinations that the institutions are coming up with, but be very careful, join them only after doing proper research. Just try to find out if that subject suits your aptitude or if that subject has got future career in the open market. Now, how to choose an institution college? How do you select a college? Because there are n number of colleges throughout the country. There are nearly 35,000 colleges, and there are huge number of colleges providing the same type of course which you would like to. How do you choose a college? Now, college providing combinations of your interest or nearest combination is, you need to shortlist those colleges. Now, second aspect is realistic chance of you getting admitted based upon your marks and previous cutoffs. Now, we all like to study in the colleges that are very reputed or nearest to our residences, but be realistic. If you feel that you stand a chance as per previous cutoffs, take a chance. Otherwise, be mobile. There are a lot of colleges in other cities, in other states, which provide you same level of education, and keep those options open. Faculties, facilities like laboratory and library. It is also important to know beforehand the type of faculty available, the level of faculty available, the facilities like laboratory and the library facilities. Also opt for college that gives scope for extracurricular activities. Those colleges which encourage participation in college festivals, encourage participation in seminars, workshops, debates, because these are inherent, very much inherent to the growth of scientific temperament in a student. A college providing science education needs to encourage people to participate in seminars, workshops, debates, journal clubs, because it opens up options for students. A good college should have a good alumni placement cell, and also find out the placement records of that college before you actually make a decision to join them. We also have national surveys done by reputed groups, the India Today, the Outlook. We have the official government ranking system done by the NAC and the NIRF, which give you a fair idea about the standing of the college, because they rank the colleges as under various categories, whether it is not only the marks or not only the results, but then the kind of students, kind of activities they have undertaken throughout the year is the basis on which these institutions are ranked. Now, options for graduation. If you want to opt for basic sciences, then you have got n number of courses, but it would be always nice to start off with basic courses like botany, zoology, and biochemistry, because that gives you a lot of options at the post-graduation level. But still, if you feel that you would like to do micro management at the graduation level, that is fine. There also a lot of options are available, but botany, zoology, biochemistry, and microbiology and biophysics are the basic fundamental sciences, which again diversify into the other aspects at later stages. But if you have decided your stream at the graduation level, it is fine. Then you have got options for medicines also. Medicines also, other than MBBS, we have the Bachelor of Homeo Medicine Services, the Ayurvedic Medical Services, the Unani Medicine Services, the Dental Services, the Bachelor in Yoga and Yoga Science and Naturopathy. So these are all fields that have diversified and are coming up now. There are scope in each of these fields. Other than that, we have the agriculture, veterinary sciences, dairy, and animal husbandry. This is one field which we do not give much priority, but then, socially and economically, these fields are very, 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 very promising. BSc in agriculture, BSc in horticulture, Bachelor in veterinary sciences and animal husbandry, You've got various diplomas in animal husbandry and dairying. So there are a lot of agricultural universities in India which are silently doing a wonderful job. And, there is a good option to join these institutions also, because these are also very rewarding careers. Then we have the evergreen nursing and physiotherapy courses, where BSc nursing, the bachelor in physiotherapy, diploma in diet and nutrition, BSc food technology. So there are, the options after for graduation are growing by the year. Now, what would be the fee requirement for graduate degrees along with diplomas? The fees for an Indian university per year ranges from 20,000 to 1 lakh rupees. For students aspiring to study abroad, the tuition fee begins with around 8 lakhs per semester. Now, there are loans available, there are fellowships available, there are scholarships available. Only thing is they are highly competitive. But, if anybody can get it, you can also be in that list. So no restrictions, try it for the best. Institutions like National Center for Biological Sciences and RCB, Regional Center for Biotechnology, have integrated master's PhD program, where even at the master's level, you start getting fellowships. Now these fellowships range from 20,000 to 50,000 per month. You are given hostel facilities, and these are integrated programs that allow you to go up to PhD. There is an option to come out after post-graduation also. Now, postgraduate courses. Many universities do not allow students with, so this I had already explained. And certain interdisciplinary courses like biotechnology or bioinformatics, students with undergraduate degrees in basic sciences, fields such as botany, zoology, microbiology, chemistry, etc., may be eligible for admission to biotechnology, but reverse may not be possible. Now, another aspect is several institutes like the IIT, ISERS, NCBS, RCB, TIFR also run integrated programs. So these are through entrance examinations. And if you clear them, well, you start getting, you can actually start funding your own education from the post-graduation level. There are options available to you. Now we go into the next stage, career options after graduation or post-graduation. Now, if you choose research, then you need to pass the national eligibility test or national exams by various agencies in Government of India. I'll give the details after the presentation, where even you start off as the junior research fellow. For first 2 years, you get a stipend of 35,000 rupees, plus most of the colleges are resident, most of the institutions are residential. So you get a hostel facility there. And you get a senior research fellowship that raises to 40,000 rupees. And then once you finish your PhD, these fellowships are available for an initial period of 5 years. So all your education after your master's get automatically funded if you pass these national level examinations. I'll give you the details of the examinations after the presentation. Now, if you want to go into the academics, then after your master's, you do a B.Ed, you are entitled for joining as a postgraduate teacher. If you do after graduation, you become a trained graduate teacher. You do it after post-graduation, you are eligible to become a postgraduate teacher. But if you apply for NET, there is an option for lecturership under the NET, and you are entitled to join any of the, you are entitled to apply for the lecturer post in any of the recognized educational institution throughout India. State governments also have their own SLET, that is the state level entrance test. And the government has introduced now the CTET, that is the Central Teachers Eligibility Test. That is a national level examination. You pass that and you are eligible to join any of the government schools that are run throughout the country. So these are basic eligibility tests which will allow you to further your career in academics. Now, if you want to join the industry, it is highly competitive. So you need additional qualification like an MDA or the executive development program, or specialized courses in bioinformatics, IPR, nursing. So these, if you join the industry, or you need to service, you need to have additional qualifications suited to your area of interest. Now, continuing from the previous slide, if you do not wish to continue post-graduation or higher in the same field as your undergraduate studies, you can diversify and take up courses in the field of your interest. For example, you can go in for B.Ed if you wish to do teaching, MBA if you're interested in business management, and law and IPR if you wish to do patent attorney, or mass communication and journalism if you wish to diversify to science communication and so on. As far as possible, you should try to take up additional courses in topics. This you can do even while you are doing your post-graduation courses. The IPR courses, the business management or EDP programs, these can be run parallelly to your post-graduation courses. You can also try for overseas programs, as these are available. Most of the programs in management and IPR studies are available online. So you can do these courses parallelly so that it keeps your options open after you finished your post-graduation. Now, let me go back to research and academics. Now, there are immense opportunities for students who wish to pursue a career in education and research. India has a large network of institutions of higher learning. There are 47 central universities, 370 state universities, 123 deemed universities, 282 private universities, 23 IITs, 31 NITs, 23 triple ITs, Indian Institute of Information Technology, 7 ISERs. ISERs are Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. And we have got nearly 22 new AIMSs sanctioned. And under the affiliation of these institutions, there are 35,000 affiliated colleges which offer undergraduate and postgraduate courses. These are also opportunities for you. Once you finish your graduation, you finish your post-graduation, if you do PhD, then you can come back and join as faculty in any of these colleges. At any given point of time, I can tell you authoritatively, nearly 30% of the vacancies remain open in any of the government college because for want of qualified faculty. So that is one major aspect which you need to consider when you take up your job, because teaching job in a government college or in a esteemed institution is by itself a service to the society, because you do a major role in mentoring students and shaping young minds. So it will be very rewarding career if you take up research and academics, but then it will also be beneficial if you continue your education and acquire a PhD degree and postdoctoral experience. Now, outside academic career, non-academic career. Now, transition to industry. What are the industry types? Now, there are 4 major types of industry in the the life sciences field. I can classify them as, first one is the biopharmaceuticals. Biopharmaceuticals, the classifications are, they are into the fields of biosimilar, molecular diagnostics, vaccines, natural products, drug discovery, biomedical devices. Then we have bioagriculture, which includes crop biotechnology, transgenic crop. Transgenic crop is what they talk about, the mutated crops, the hybrid varieties, the plant tissue culture, the biofertilizers. Then we have the animal biotechnology industries, where you have the animal breeding, you've got the drugs related to animals, vaccines, diagnostics, nutraceuticals, feeds, etc. And then we have got a very very different field of aquaculture and biofuels also. Then the third service is the bioservice, which is clinical and contract research services. And fourth one is the field of bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is again an emerging field which includes creating and managing databases and software tools, in silico drug designing, genome sequencing, etc. So these these are actually happening fields where, if you don't want to enter into the academic field, you've got a lot of options available, and there are a lot of vacancies available in each of these fields. And people are actually craving for students coming out with desired qualifications, desired interest, desired aptitude. Now, career options in industry. Now, what are the types of jobs that are available in the industry? Even if you go to industry, there is the industrial R&D available. That means each industry, each growing industry would have an R&D wing available in each of these industries. Now, any industry that does not have R&D component stagnates and virtually goes dead. So industrial R&D is also a very important component of development of the marketing field. Then you have got the product management, the quality control and quality assurance. You've got technical sales and marketing, which is also another important factor. There, science graduates and postgraduates are preferred over non-science graduates because they understand the needs of the industry, they understand the needs of the clients better than a non-science graduates. Another important aspect that is coming up is the technical writing. Technical writing starts from writing advertisements. It goes on, to writing the product description, the product science. So technical writing field is also an emerging and important field for science graduates and postgraduates. Now, there is a huge thrust of government in bioentrepreneurship. Government has introduced a lot of programs under the banner of Innovate in India, Make in India, and Startup India slogans. And this has actually had huge, impact on the outlook of the modern students that are coming out after education. Earlier, we used to look at the European countries, the Americas for getting new products, but then now we are looking inwards, and that impetus has actually been given by the government, and the departments that are giving huge impetus to that are the Department of Science and Technology. We've got two institutions under the Department of Science and Technology. One is the Technology Development Board, and the other one is the National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board. Then we have got a big institution called as the Biotechnology Industry Research Council, the BIRAC, set up by the Biotechnology, which has done huge support for the biotechnology industry. BIRAC alone has supported around 500 startups and entrepreneurs in the last few years. BIRAC has got various schemes, that they get advertised throughout the year. Individuals, companies, institutions can apply for loans, can apply for grants, can apply for facilities, and BIRAC is one of the institutions which has actually promoted science across the country, and we have got 30 incubators that have been funded by the BIRAC. One of which I explained to you has been set up in Faridabad, but then there are 30 and more are coming, where incubators are basic facilities where if you've got a good idea, incubators are facilities which allow you to incubate that ideas. They get companies to you get opportunity to advertise your ideas to the company, and the incubators also facilitate funding for that idea, and then you are given a time for 3 or 4 years to actually incubate and then take your idea to the market level. So this is a new initiative of the government. Now, for science graduate, there are other specialized careers also. Career in IPR and patent, you can become a patent agent, you can become a patent examiner, or you can become a patent attorney. That is, if you like to go further in that career. You got technology transfers where science graduates are highly preferred. You got regulatory management. That means there are a lot of regulatory offices opened by the government where science graduates, postgraduates are required to do regulatory services, in the country, because science has got both positive and negative sides. Now, it would be highly risky to let science or scientists go uncontrolled. It is very important for us to have regulatory mechanisms in the country, and for that regulatory mechanisms also, government requires people who understand science and who do good science. Then The next field is the science communication and public outreach. This is another aspect where we popularize science, the science communication, the articles on science. This is also one of the growing fields. Then we have got science management and administration. This is where people like us come into picture. The administration of institutions, the creation of new institutions is what we do. Then we have got core facility management. These are facilities that are established, spending crores of money to facilitate research by the student. We have to, each of these institutions in the government or the private institution have got various technology platforms which allow science or scientists to run the experiments and then give. These are all state-of-art facilities. These are hugely valuable facilities, but they also require qualified scientists, qualified technologists, qualified postgraduate science students to run those facilities. Then we have got the field of bioinformatics and big data science and clinical trial management. So clinical trial management is another aspect which is part of the service industry for a science graduate or a postgraduate. So, overall, I think I have done through my presentation. Now, what my basic idea of this presentation was to give you an idea of the total scope of scope available to you after you have completed your studies. Now, for a scientist, study never ends, but for a student who is looking at a career, your career can start after you finish your post graduation, by doing a research, by doing a industry, or as science is a way of life. So I finished my presentation and I'm open to questions now. I think I may have run through this presentation a little fast. So any details or any further questions if you have, I'm willing to take. Thank you so much, Father. I don't know how far, if I have been very fast or too much information comprised into this presentation. I don't know how the students have taken it. Let us find out.
Anyway, many watch it afterwards, so it is it is very detailed and integral, very useful. So now, youngsters, you can just start with your questions.
Yes, Father. Thank you, sir. So your presentation was really self-explanatory. So our questions may seem like a repetition, but I feel whoever watches this later might kind of benefit from the brief answer that you would give to the question.
Sure.
So my first question was actually, what is the new approach of the Indian government on science, its teaching and learning?
Government has actually, understood the importance of science better. Last 20 years, if you see, there has been a shift from bench science to the getting it out into the market. Earlier our science used to be publication based. Now we have understood the importance of translational science, and that is a paradigm shift. Because earlier we used to look towards West for getting new inventions, new discoveries, but then these things are happening in India also. So there has been a huge shift that is significant, because we have set up incubators, we have set up translational science biology, we have set up laboratories where translational science has taken predominance over bench science, and that is one of the major shifts that you see in the Indian science, and that impetus has been given by the successive governments for the last 20 years. Yes, Ronia.
Thank you, sir. I'll have Divya ask the next question.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So you have mentioned that you have worked with different institutes and have been instrumental in developing different incubation centers. So I just wanted to ask if you could share those experiences with us.
See, setting up incubators means, basic idea of incubator is to allow students, allow researchers to take their research idea to product level. Now, setting up an institution has got two aspects. One is the technology aspect. Second one is the marketing aspect. Technology aspect is easy because so far we have got an institution called BIRAC which funds setting up of bioincubators. Now, once you set up the facility, the important factor is, finding people with right ideas, finding industries that would support the ideas, and then also funding for the period, because an idea to become a product level, it may take anywhere between 2 to 10 years. Now, that entire period is basically like, that is what is the incubation period called. And the success rate of these ideas are usually below 10%. Out of 100 ideas that are, brought out by the researchers are patented, maybe 10% or 10% is a very high thing. Actual percentage could be 5 or 4, which come to the product level. Now, industries are now willing to put forward that money into science, because they realize the importance of research, they realize the importance of translation science. So that way, I had very good experience of setting up the industry. Now the present incubator, I guess, have got 20 startups which are going on, which are incubating. Now it remains to be seen how many ideas actually come to the market as products. Thank you, Divya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I think Ananya can ask the next question.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So taking from your presentation, the first thought that came to my mind was, what advice would you give students who are just about to make their career or stream choices?
Ananya, your interest is the primary thing that, should drive you to take a course. Options are available. Today it is not like what it was 20 years for a science student. Today the world is open to a science student, right? Only thing is he needs to decide where he or she wants to go. Earlier for us, as I told you, either it was medicine, engineering, or the highway. I mean, we had to, look for bank jobs. We had to look for, the insurance, the army, the navy. I mean, those are also highly prestigious options. But today, if you do science, if you do, academically well in science, the graduation level, the post-graduation level, you've got huge options. So today, the science students limits, the science students' ambitions are limited only by his capabilities, his interest. If you got interest, you've got huge amount of options. You've got, funding also, and the facilities for science students are better as never before. Thank you, Divya.
Hello,
Hi.
sir.
Hi, Michelle.
Sir, my question for you is, how does a typical work lifestyle of yours look like? Like, what are the positive as well as negative professional experiences that you personally had?
That's a very loaded question, Michelle. But then, typical work life is very challenging in the sense, when you go to office daily, you don't know what is coming to you. There could be technical problems. There could be, immediate urgent availability requirement of, chemicals, reagents. There could be people coming up with new ideas. They would want their facilities immediately. But then the system being what it is in India, our turnover time is huge in the sense, when we any scientist wants to plan an experiment, first aspect is, the funding part, which he writes a project, and the project sanctioning from the funding agency usually takes about 3 to 6 months. So there is a huge waiting period. And even when the money is available, then the procurement, everything starts, then that takes also a lot of time, because there are set of rules which we follow. There are huge amount of competitors available in the market. So to get the products at very reasonable rates, we have to follow a process of bidding. There are a lot of administrative processes involved. One of the scientists who joined me in a regional center for biotechnology, He had come directly from the from the US after doing postdoc, right? So he said that in India to get a chemical would require 3 months, whereas in US I think about it in the morning and evening it is on my desk. So there is a huge difference. There was a huge difference. There still is, but even with those shortcomings, we are doing excellently well in science. So we hope that fresh people come into science, fresh ideas come into science, so that we can keep developing, we can keep improving. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, though your presentation touched on the fact that there are so many universities in the country which give you a very good opportunity to pursue life sciences.
Right.
However, sir, can you just give them like a brief idea about what do you think is one of the easiest to apply to and the easiest to get into? Because all of the IITs, NIITs, the competition is like miles long. So a safer option for people who are sort of in the average list of the academia.
I'm an average person. We are all average people, but then even Abdul Kalam, even Manmohan Singh, they are average people who did extraordinary jobs. We should aim for that. We are all, everybody is average, but we all need to understand that we will not reach that level until we try, right? We may not, everybody cannot become president, but then we would have tried, we would have reached at certain levels, so it is important for us to try. And institution wise, competition wise, I would say all the national level examinations, there are national level examinations for scholarships given by the Department of Biotechnology, the UGC CSIR, and these are qualifying nature. These are not, you don't get ranked in merit, right? And once you clear those examinations, then you are free to join any of the institutions of your choice. It could be in India, it could be mostly in India only. It could be Delhi, it could be Kerala, it could be in Northeast, any place, any institution which you like. Each of these institutions have their own set of interviews, right? And it is not, I'll tell you what, these are not highly specialized or anything. They are what the institution or the specific lab requirements is what decides the selection. Most of the institutions I've seen, there remains a lot of vacancies available because people do not apply thinking that isme to mujhe nahi milega. Never think that. You decide the specific area which you want to work. You shortlist institutions which offer those courses. You also understand, there is a huge amount of advantage in science if you do networking. You need to contact the faculty there. You need to talk to them. You don't feel that he may not talk to me, or he may not, he's too big to talk to me. No, just put in a mail. Today I am telling you, there are 70% chances that a scientist will respond to you, because today what happens is, you will realize after you go to certain level that a scientist after certain level, for his science to progress, he requires students like you. He requires fresh ideas, right? His science does not, he works on only one problem, but then an average scientist, in a mid-career scientist, works on 7 or 8 problems through his 5 students. He would have 5 different projects running, and he would have project staff also. So there is a lot of scope. Don't feel intimidated by the reputation of an institution, right? You need to try, you will get it. Okay, Brownie.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Because the fear of not being able to make it kind of curves us down from applying to so many things.
No, Brownie. See, there is always the next level. Today, I'll tell you what. Today you are a student. Tomorrow you will become a faculty, and you would think, "Yaar, ye to kuch bhi nahi tha." Then you may become a principal. Then you will see, this is a natural progression. And then what you are feeling is right for your age. Don't worry about it. But you will do very well. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir. That was very motivating. So my question might look a bit repeated, as you had already talked about entrepreneurships and startups. I wanted to know if you could elaborate on the steps for a science startup.
For a science startup, who has asked this question? Ananya or
Divya.
Divya.
Divya? Divya. Okay, Divya. Sorry. Okay, Divya. For a science startup, important thing is you need to have an idea with you, and this idea needs to be researched. Because science development in science requires a lot of money, and there is also a huge amount of period which your idea to become marketable, to become profitable, there is a huge translational period to fund that period. And the translational research is not very economical, in the sense it can't be done with a small amount of money. It requires huge investment. Bioincubators in India have done part of the job by providing the facility. The equipments that are housed in the incubators are worth crores of rupees. No individual can spend that kind of money, and no company would be able to try on those equipments. There are incubation facilities, those are available, those have provided the facilities. It is for the student with idea to convince the company to fund it for that many period. Now facilities are available, you need to have ideas, you need to have good mentors, you need to keep in touch with your mentors at the graduation level, the post graduation level, the PhD mentors, because in science, future of science lies in networking. I mean, your growth in science, your career in academics, in your career in industry depends upon your ability to network with the right kind of people. It could be the people in the industry, could be people in the academia, it could be people in the communication. You need to network with people to succeed in science. So that is one of the important aspects, where if you've got a good idea, it should be a well researched and publicized idea. Then you can be sure there are options available where you can take those idea to the product level.
Thank you, sir. Seems very hard.
It's not very hard. There are options available. You need to start. Okay, Divya.
Thank you.
Also, sir, is there enough research facilities or opportunities available in India for life science as compared to other countries? Also, for a student who want to study in abroad, which countries would you suggest to pursue this career?
Uh, I think today, for a science student, India is the best for education. I'll tell you why. Because, pan India, across India, if you see, science education is very cheap. For 20,000 or 1 lakh rupees per month compared to 8 or 10 lakhs per semester, abroad. Studying abroad is fine, but then studying abroad, the best option is US. As always, you got Germany, but you have to learn the language German there. You got good institutions in France, and one of the fast catching up place for doing studies is China. I mean, if you are strong enough to go to China, well, that's a very good place to do science. But as of now, I would recommend for any science doing a graduation or post-graduation level, the options available in India are huge. But if you're decided to go abroad, well, US is the destination, but European countries are not far behind. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, could you kindly elaborate the working areas as well as the science promotions by your
I didn't get the question fully.
Michelle, just repeat. You are muted. You are muted. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, could you kindly elaborate the working areas and the science promotions that are done by your current institute?
Yes. We do a lot of, all the areas in genetic engineering. We have got the genetic engineering would include areas of, the microbiology, the cancer biology. We have the plant biology. We have got the plant vector disease biology. So, we cover, it depends upon the faculty which we recruit. We are open to all areas of plant as well as animal biotechnology. The virology is there. So it depends upon the faculty who is willing to join us. Our recruitments are done throughout the year. So we are not specializing in any specific areas. Any good faculty we get who has got a good idea, we find his or her area of research suiting our requirement, we take that person concerned, we provide facility, we allow him the infrastructure to build a lab, he starts taking student, and then his research is on the way. So we do research in all areas of biotechnology.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, in between, what about children, and how can they identify their talent? So even interest in science. Okay, you have told already in the slide, but still a little more ways for children to identify themselves, their interest.
Science, it requires the inherent ability to ask questions to themselves. Today something is happening. It could be, it could be simple things as, you are at your home and mummy has added more ginger in the curry. The question is, why did she ask more? I mean, why did she add more ginger today? The inherent ability for a student to ask questions, to find out the reasons, not taking things for granted. That is the first signs that there is an inherent ability in the student to follow science. The quest for knowledge, the quest to find out things, why things are like that. Science is basically understanding what is present. I mean, why is, it is something like, why is the earth revolving around the sun? That is science. We all know that it does, but then why is it revolving? Why is it not going the anti-clockwise direction? It is the ability to ask questions. Now, is somebody, we always, as parents, we always try to disavoid, uncomfortable questions. We say, "Arey, chodo yaar, abhi baad mein dekhte hain." Nahi. So basically, important for any student, any child who is asking questions, he's got a scientific bent of mind. And that is what we need to encourage. That is what, as parents, as teachers, we should try to understand, that the child has got a scientific bent of mind, and we need to encourage that. That is one of the primary, signs of a student being good at science.
Okay, Bronia.
Yes, Father. So, sir, actually, after listening to this, I just had this curiosity that how do you think that we can make the science education more activity oriented so that, kids can get an interest into it? Because mostly schools have this thing of rote learning. All of us have seen this. We have all experienced rote learning as the basis of science education. How can we make it a bit more activity oriented?
Activity, we see most of our school level, we don't have labs. Our lab life actually starts in the intermediate level, right? But then, if we do a shift of, because, I think we start off science at the environmental scientist level when we are doing the first grade, second grade, third grade. The diversification of, biology, chemistry, physics comes only at when we are maybe sixth or seventh. And then we further diversify when go into the intermediate level. Now, these diversification, and I also understand that, it is a bit difficult for a very young student to understand the nuances of biology or plant biology or this thing. But then, there are stages where we feel that education can be a little more simplified. They can have little more lab time. I mean, try to understand, we can have a lot of lab visits wherein, and this we are doing at the RCB. We had an outreach program where we used to invite students of the schools, maybe 10 or 15 schools nearby, to have, visits, go into the lab, try to understand. They may not understand the science that is going on, but then for them, they understand that there is something special work going on there, and they, it's always the interest. You try to initiate their interest into something that is big, something that is nice, that is going on happening here. So So it gives you a feeling that, yes, I can also do this. I also want to do this. So that is an attempt which we can make, but there could be other ways also, but then we would require specialists to answer that, right? But definitely there are ways in which, we can ignite the interest of students at a lesser level than the intermediate or the graduation level.
Yes, because I've seen people, when I went into college, we were blessed in a way that our schools, allowed us to do the lab activities on our own. But there were so many people who I met who have never, actually had a chance to really touch the equipment and do the experiment
Right,
themselves, because it was all about marks. And they were like, okay, we just copy paste and we just do it. So
right,
that
right.
kind of does not give them the real essence of what they're trying to learn.
Correct. See, in India, till even the graduation level, we don't do independent research. We are not allowed to think, right? It is what you do this experiment this way, you get this result, and then you get enough marks to pass, and that is the aim. You do your independent research only when you join the post-graduation level, or maybe after that. See, after that, what happens is when you join the doctoral level or the PhD level, you are expected to have your own idea and you are expected to do research on that. Your mentor will just guide you. You need to select your own subject of study, and that study you will have to find the right mentor and then follow that course of study during your 5 years. And if you succeed, it is your success. If you fail, it is your failure. Mentor will not take responsibility for that. He will guide you how to do research. The research would be your responsibility, right? So that thing slowly we need to get it down to the graduation or the intermediate level. It is difficult, I do agree, but there are instances where in US where they are trying out, even in India we are trying out, we have this crafts mela and all, where we encourage students from the intermediate level to present their inventions, small level also, but we are trying to bring out that in our student. Hopefully, I think going forward, maybe we will have younger students coming up with brilliant ideas.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rani.
So, sir, you said that one of the major thing that a child should require is curiosity
Yes.
to be interested in science. So, uh, would you say there are any other key requirements or key skills required for a person to have a successful career in life science?
Curiosity is one, perseverance is another. Perseverance in the sense that science doesn't give you result overnight. Even a minor problem, it will take months, years to understand and to decipher. It may take another 10 years. If a good scientist can give a discovery in his lifetime, he is considered to be a good scientist. One discovery. So science is a very demanding profession in the sense that your interest, you need to understand that there are limitations, and then to do a proper discovery, to do a proper invention is a team effort, and it requires perseverance. It is actually trial and error because nobody else has done it before. So when you approach a new problem, there are 90% chances that you may not get success the way you want it to be. But then you have even if you fail, for science, that is development, because out of 100 different ways, you have closed one negative way. So there are only 99 remaining ways. So the chances of success, somebody else getting success, is heightened by that extent, right? The negative results confirm that you are getting nearer to the positive result. So that is the way which science looks at it. Even a negative result becomes positive for others in the sense that they did not do research in that field.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
So, sir, many children, including me, don't know what to do after taking science in the 11th, and thing causes this phenomenon.
Could you repeat that, Ananya? Could you repeat that?
I was saying many students.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Now I can hear you. Tell me.
So I was asking many children, including me, don't know what to do after taking science.
Okay.
So what do you think causes this?
There are many aspects, and it is quite natural for a lot of people to feel disillusioned after taking. So this doesn't only relate to science; it can be to many other subjects also, right? We feel that we are made for something, but then after say doing the thing for maybe 2 years or 3 years, there is a natural tendency. Yeah, whatever I expected, it's not the right results are not coming. I'm not able to understand the concepts, or there would be other fields which look more promising. Don't worry about it, these are all natural things, but there are a lot of options available outside science also. What we went through the presentation, it's not only about doing science, it's about journalism, it's about legal field. There are various options in science also. So you have a basis of science, that means you have got a good platform. You can diversify. You need not continue with your science. You can go to other fields also. There are other options available also. So please do not worry that you have lost your interest in science. No problem. You've got n number of options available after doing science also. No problem. You need to find out your renewed interest. If you want to do management after that, do management, no problem. If you want to do journalism after that, do the journalism. But then your whatever experience or knowledge you have gained from your science education, that will definitely help you in with your future career decisions. Okay, Ananya.
Sir, as
Yes.
a child and a school student, what were your interests and aspirations? And how did you work on it to reach your goals?
Yeah, that's a that's a very interesting question. When I was in second standard, I wanted to become Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad was the president of India at that time, right? So I I still want to become the president, but I'm only halfway through. So I think it's a long way. But then yes, career-wise, career has been pretty rewarding. It has been more rewarding towards the later stages because once you are in the government, you are bound by certain set of rules, and government functioning is more file oriented, more you do more policy matters rather than actual work. But during the later three or four institutions where I worked, it was actual production. I mean, I could see institutions growing. We could actually participate in institutional functioning. You could actually see a lot of things. You could participate in a lot of things happening. So that way, I think my career has been to my satisfaction. It has been good so far. Anyway, my primary ambition is still to be met, but then you will know about it if I achieve that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So after hearing your ambition, even I feel motivated that, okay, I can also have great ambitions. Someday I'll also land up somewhere I want to.
Yes, yes, yes. You will, you will. Tell me.
So one of my last questions for the day was that, sir, because there are lots of people who feel that, okay, now as India is a developing country, we still have, even though we have a lot many opportunities, people still have this feeling that yes, India still lacks a couple of things in terms of infrastructure and opportunities. So people do tend to pursue their education outside, but then we are very unaware of how we approach abroad education, or how do we apply for abroad education. So can you give us like an idea about when we can start, or how should we start the research for that, because nobody gives you that clear idea of how to look into applying abroad.
Bronya, now applying abroad is very easy in the sense, earlier people used to go abroad only for their postdoctoral research where a lot of options are available. But now students have started going even for the undergraduate courses. I'll tell you what, undergraduate courses are very costly abroad, because you go at a very young level. You need, the place of stay, the place of work. It's actually very costly. But if you are able to afford that kind of thing, options are available. I mean, you can apply. Best thing to do is to apply directly to universities. Most of the universities in the US, in the UK, and in all the European countries actually look forward to students from India coming there, because they know that students from India are the most dedicated students. So, and second thing is, keep watching the newspapers, do a lot of networking, because that is another channel through which you come to know that when the opportunities come. There are a lot of seminars held throughout the year. You just go through the paper advertisement, you will see the education fairs being held by various countries in good hotels. Where you go, you find out about the educational opportunities. Third aspect is, you can write directly to the embassies concerned. If if you want to study abroad in USA, you mention your qualification, write to the embassy concerned. They will 99% respond to you, saying the options, or they will connect you to the scientific. Each of the embassy has got a science attaché, and that duty of the scientist attaché is to ensure that he gives proper information to budding students or anybody wanting to go abroad for studies. Now, education all over the world has been, actually the conditions for studying abroad has actually been very made very easy now, and very transparent now. So if you are really interested, shortlist the options, which the countries which you want to go, shortlist the institutions where you want to go. Easiest thing is to start putting a mail to them. Each of the universities, each of the institution has got its own correspondent wing who will respond to you, right? And this I found out personally, because I had applied for 3 or 4 places. I just responded, and then once you apply to them, they don't leave you till you have joined them, because they want you more than you need them, right? And it is very good, somebody who is willing to go abroad and study, who's going to willing to play, they also realize that the person is really serious about the studies, so they take interest to ensure that you join them, rather than they will not allow you till to rest till you have actually joined them.
Yes, sir. So just
Okay.
one more thing I would like to ask about that same topic. So is that
Mhm.
is how, I mean, because the cost of living as compared to India is kind of really high or exorbitant, if I may, in
Yes,
most
yes.
countries. So how do people actually decide on how to apply for the scholarships, or how to keep track of those things?
There are a lot of international funding agencies. There is a Welcome DBT, which in India, which gives, there is a Fulbright fellowship. So there are a lot of agencies which give fellowships for external studies. Other than that, most of the good institutions abroad, they have got their fund managers who are willing to support, students who study there. Then for higher studies, there are always part-time lecturership available in the same institution, right? So there are options available which you need to explore once you have decided what you are going abroad for. At the undergraduate level, if you go, there are a lot of less options, in the sense that you will be have to fend for yourself at the undergraduate level. But for the postgraduate level onwards, you will have options available at the university level itself. You will have options with the funding agencies. There are a lot of good funding agencies. There is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is there, the Clinton Foundation is there, the Welcome DBT Foundation is there. So there are institutions which will actually fund your entire study. And then you have the Indian banks, but then they will go, give you loan against collaterals, but then that is also an option available as of now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You made so many things clear.
Okay.
So one thing was, as you discussed about going abroad, and this question has already been asked: which country is best to pursue life science? But to study abroad, which country would you think is best? Like, while I was searching for it, I've heard that Germany provides free, no tuition fees, so the education fee is very less. But Canada provides a PR to you. So, do you have any recommendations on which country would be the best to study abroad?
Well, while working in RCB, I had 4 scientists who returned from the US. Right. So, and they had spent, different varying periods of time in the US. Some had done, one of them had gone from graduation level itself. One had done postdoc there. So at the postdoc level, most of the universities in US provided you good source of earning, in the sense that, any person who does a postdoc for 4 years in US, any place, would earn enough to come back here, and start a good life here, in the sense buy a car. So you save enough in US. In Germany, it is not very profiteering, in the sense that you need to learn the language there. That is first. Second is, the education is free, but then the earning potential in countries like Germany, when you're studying, is comparatively less as compared to the US. So, earning potential, the potential to adapt better, the language wise, I would say US is the best option as of now. And UK is also good, because you don't have to learn the language there, but options in UK are pretty limited, in the sense that, they do encourage students from abroad, but there are limitations there. But US is more open compared to the UK. Canada also gives a lot of options, but then Canadians prefer people migrating there rather than people coming there for studies alone.
Mm-hmm. So also there was already a discussion on how mostly schools adopt rote learning techniques. So students gradually lose their curiosity and are stuck with rote learning. So I was thinking how people from the academic community do science, or yeah, how is it different?
It is different in the sense that, people from the academic committee, academic background, or the academic field do not have that kind of facility to do research, in the sense, any faculty in an educational institution, any faculty from any of the college is eligible to write a grant from any funding agency. But the chances of them getting funded a big project are very less, because university does not have that kind of advanced facility available with them. A big research institution will be able to fund, crores of worth of infrastructure equipment, whereas a university may not, because primary function of a university is to teach, right? And most of the universities give graduation and post-graduation, but then for doing your postdoctoral or doctoral research, the kind of facilities that need to be available are more often not available with the Indian universities or colleges. So that is the big drawback. Otherwise, faculty in the academic institutions are actually encouraged to write projects, but then the aims or the objectives are pretty limited, in the sense, or they need to tie up with some flourishing institution nearby, so that they can do part of their research in the institution. Otherwise, only academic people, yes, they can keep themselves abreast of the developments. They can contribute to science by, nurturing good students, but directly doing research, they would have to tie up with one or the other established research institutions to do actual science. I'll tell you one good example. You are from St. Stephen's, earlier there was a professor called Professor Ishwaran. I think he retired from one of the colleges in Delhi University. And because of his love for research, after 65, he joined the RCB. He was there till he was 72. He did a lot of good research. He said, last 7 years has been as rewarding as my 35 years of teaching, because he was able to actually put his scientific, urge to do research in RCB for, so 7 years he did very good research, and then recently he left it and he has joined Amity University for doing further research. But then, people in academy at some point of time, they do feel the urge of doing research, but then, there are always constraints for the infrastructure available within the universities. But yes, they do have an option.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Divya.
Now, sir, can you share the work experience and details of the many prestigious institutes you worked in?
I think we are repeating this question, but my experience has been pretty good. I mean, in the sense, there have been a lot of challenges, but if you want, if I get an opportunity to rewind my life, maybe I'd like to do the same thing again in a better way. So a lot of positives, few challenges, but then it has helped me to grow as a person. And today I'm able to give you this information because I had first-hand information about what we did actually in setting up institutions, the facilities that are newly coming up, the scope for future in science. So these are all aspects that I've learned because of my career in different institutions. And there are aspects, what I told you about the rock mechanics institution. That is one of the kind institution in the whole country. I never imagined, what could a rock mechanic do. I was wondering what mechanics do, but then rock mechanic is a very highly specialized field, and it's something which is mind-boggling when you go there. India at some point of time in 1900, 1920 had the deepest gold mine in the world. We had gone 3.5 kilometers down the earth to mine gold, and India was the best gold mining in, the Bharat gold mines was the best gold mine in the world. Now it has been overtaken by the South African mine, which has gone 4 kilometers down. But the mine sinking technology of the Bharat gold mines is still considered to be the best, because 3.5 kilometers down, the temperatures are 60, 65 degrees where no human can actually exist. But our gold miners were so competent that they could manage temperatures of 35 to 40 degrees 4.5 kilometers down. So that mining technology, India is still the supreme. South Africa actually takes, have taken a lot of people from the Bharat gold mines who retired and hired them as consultants. So, there are fields which we have got expertise. So we can do a lot of good things if we make an attempt. And we are capable of that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ananya.
I think so. That brings us to the conclusion of our questions.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
So over to you, Father.
Okay, now anyway, we will have Divya saying a final vote of thanks. But in between, anyway, it was very informative, complete details. No doubt, any student, any science student who is listening to this program would benefit in great amount, because everything is said, everything, the study aptitudes, the institutes, the possibilities, the international arena of science learning, everything. It's wonderful, and thanks a lot, Mr. Biju Matthew. And usually we find our students, especially science students, they have very limited knowledge about what to do and then the scope of science. But here in this 1.5 hour program, the scope and the world of science, how to think, how to work, how to research, and how to study, everything is elaborated. And the Indian network of higher education science, very many time our complete population is unaware of that truth, that India is a hotspot for study, academics, In abroad, we just sell ourselves for studying without freedom, and we okay, the social security part maybe, and also this political divisive factors are tempting the people to go abroad. But academically, and the opportunities available here, so-called for us, is vast, and really the quality also is great. So that is also clearly opened by the expert. Thank you. And as I know, Mr. Biju Matthew, for long years now, almost I think for almost 10 years we were in touch with, and very silent man, but a very great man, truly a knowledgeable person, rich but very silent, quiet person. But as he has told, he is into the science management and administration, and he does wonderful works. That is why he is so-called sought after by the government officials to be an administrator, science management team member. And he has, as he has explained, he has developed very great institutions of primary importance in science learning. Anyway, thanks a lot, and we are really proud. And even myself was not aware that you are such a great person. Anyway, no, the knowledge wise, no doubt. You are so simple, the complete family. We have been many times visited your family, and such a, I mean, the knowledge and information, and then the so-called the maturity in sharing the questions. I think though we are very small in number, but you have asked wonderful questions from all the areas. That is also means quite nice for the others who are later listening to this program. Anyway, thanks a lot for the youngsters, and also no doubt for the expert. And now Divya, you can just give a formal vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. On behalf of all of us, I would like to thank Sir Biju Matthew for sharing with us such useful and interesting information and helping us broaden our capacity of realizing the various fields available. And I would also like to thank Father Benny for providing us with this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Father.
I would like to make a small, information, give a small information to the students. All details about the Indian universities, the scope of education, the career, the interview process is available with an organization called as the India Bioscience, that is attached to the National Center for Biological Sciences in Bangalore. Just follow their website. They give seminars on scientific careers, and their seminars are also on their website. Please go through them. They have got a very good book published called as the Disha, which is actually a guidebook for any student taking up science. So you can download that book, and it's a wonderful book. It gives pictorial representation. It gives you actually how to make a covering letter. It gives you how to attend interviews. So you please follow that. Any student of science in India should have that book available with him or her. And I wish you, I mean, you have been great listeners. And Father Benny, I mean, I have no words to actually explain, what good work he's doing. I mean, I do not want to belittle him by saying thanks, but then, Father, I mean, may God bless you, and let us hope that we continue our association for long times. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for everyone. So we end the meeting. Thanks a lot. Prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you.